This is Ben Television News Roundup, a compilation of major stories in the week ending. I'm Tunde Alabi, and thank you for being part of the program today. In the United States, the Republicans have seized control of the U.S. Senate in a midterm election, leaving the Democratic President Barack Obama to contend with Republicans-dominated Senate and Congress in the last 2 years of his government. The result of the vote, which did not come as a surprise to aggrieved Americans who are unhappy with Obama's government, gave the Republicans total control of the two houses. President Obama has been talking about mutual relationship and cooperation with the Republicans in the best interest of the country.
Today I had a chance to speak with John Boehner and congratulated Mitch McConnell on becoming the next Senate Majority Leader. And I told them both that I look forward to finishing up this Congress's business and then working together for the next 2 years to advance America's business. And I very much appreciated Leader McConnell's words last night about the prospect of working together to deliver for the American people. On Friday, I look forward to hosting the entire Republican and Democratic leadership at the White House to chart a new course forward. Obviously, Republicans had a good night, and they deserve credit for running good campaigns. Beyond that, I'll leave it to all of you and the professional pundits to pick through yesterday's results. What stands out to me, though, is that the American people sent a message, one that they've sent for several elections now. They expect the people they elect to work as hard as they do. They expect us to focus on their ambitions and not ours. They want us to get the job done. All of us in both parties have a responsibility to address that sentiment. Still, as president, I have a unique responsibility to try and make this town work. So to everyone who voted, I want you to know that I hear you. To the 2/3 of voters who chose not to participate in the process yesterday, I hear you too. All of us have to give more Americans a reason to feel like the ground is stable beneath their feet, that the future is secure, that there's a path for young people to succeed, and that folks here in Washington are concerned about them. So I plan on spending every moment of the next 2+ years doing my job the best I can to keep this country safe and to make sure that more Americans share in its prosperity. This country's made real progress since the crisis 6 years ago. The fact is, more Americans are working. Unemployment has come down. More Americans have health insurance. Manufacturing has grown. Our deficits have shrunk. Our dependence on foreign oil is down, as are gas prices. Our graduation rates are up. Our businesses aren't just creating jobs at the fastest pace since the 1990s. Our economy is outpacing most of the world. But we've just got to keep at it until every American feels the gains of a growing economy where it matters most, and that's in their own lives. Obviously, much of that will take action from Congress, and I'm eager to work with the new Congress to make the next 2 years as productive as possible. I'm committed to making sure that I measure ideas not by whether they are from Democrats or Republicans, but whether they work for the American people. And that's not to say that we won't disagree over some issues that we're passionate about. We will. Congress will pass some bills I cannot sign. I'm pretty sure I'll take some actions that some in Congress will not like. That's natural. That's how our democracy works. But we can surely find ways to work together on issues where there's broad agreement among the American people. So I look forward to Republicans putting forward their governing agenda. I will offer my ideas on areas where I think we can move together to respond to people's economic needs. So just take one example. We all agree on the need to create more jobs that pay well. Traditionally, both parties have been for creating jobs rebuilding our infrastructure, our roads, bridges, ports, waterways. I think we can hone in on a way to pay for it through tax reform that closes loopholes and makes it more attractive for companies to create jobs here in the United States. We can also work together to grow our exports and open new markets for our manufacturers to sell more American-made goods to the rest of the world. And that's something I'll be focused on when I travel to Asia next week. We all share the same aspirations for our young people. And I was encouraged that this year Republicans agreed to investments that expanded early childhood education. I think we've got a chance to do more on that front. We've got some common ideas to help more young people afford college and graduate without crippling debt so that they have the freedom to fill the good jobs of tomorrow and buy their first homes and start a family. And in the 5 states where a minimum wage increase was on the ballot last night, voters went 5 for 5 to increase it. And that'll give about 325,000 Americans a raise in states where Republican candidates prevailed. So that should give us new reason to get it done for everybody with a national increase in the minimum wage. So those are some areas where I think we've got some real opportunities to cooperate, and I am very eager to hear Republican ideas for what they think we can do together over the next couple of years. Of course, there's still business on the docket that needs attention this year. And here are 3 places where I think we can work together over the next several weeks before this Congress wraps up for the holidays. First, I'm submitting a request to Congress for funding to ensure that our doctors, scientists, and troops have the resources that they need to combat the spread of Ebola in Africa and to increase our preparedness for any future cases here at home. Second, I'm going to begin engaging Congress over a new authorization to use military force against ISIL. The world needs to know we are united behind this effort, and the men and women of our military deserve our clear and unified support. Third, back in September, Congress passed short-term legislation to keep the government open and operating into December. That gives Congress 5 weeks to pass a budget for the rest of the fiscal year, and I hope that they'll do it in the same bipartisan, drama-free way that they did earlier this year. When our companies are steadily creating jobs, which they are, we don't want to inject any new uncertainty into the world economy and to the American economy. The point is, it's time for us to take care of business. There are things this country has to do that can't wait another 2 years or another 4 years. There are plans this country has to put in place for our future. And the truth is, I'm optimistic about our future. I have good reason to be. I meet Americans all across the country who are determined and big-hearted and ask what they can do and never give up and overcome obstacles, and they inspire me every single day. So the fact is, I still believe in what I said when I was first elected 6 years ago last night. For all the maps plastered across our TV screens today, and for all the cynics who say otherwise, I continue to believe we are simply more than just a collection of red and blue states. We are the United States. And whether it's immigration or climate change or making sure our kids are going to the best possible schools, to making sure that our communities are creating jobs, whether it's stopping the spread of terror and disease, to opening up doors of opportunity to everybody who's willing to work hard and take responsibility. The United States has big things to do. We can and we will make progress if we do it together. And I look forward to the work ahead.
In the coming weeks, President Obama is expected to announce plans to allow millions of illegal immigrants begin a path towards citizenship, a plan that Republicans have termed illegal and contrary to the U.S. Constitution. Now to the United Kingdom, Chancellor George Osborne has urged petrol retailers in the country to lower their pump prices in line with fall in oil costs. The price of oil on the international market has fallen more than a quarter since June as an overall increase in supply, driven in part by increased U.S. production. U.S. production has coincided with slow increases in demand linked to slow economic growth in China and Europe. The Chancellor announced Thursday that the Conservative-led coalition government will be watching petrol and diesel distributors very carefully to ensure they pass on oil price reduction to customers. Oil price has fallen from $115.72 per barrel in June to about $84 per barrel, a decline of a quarter. In comparison, petrol prices in the UK are falling from about 131.7p per litre in the summer to 124.22p, a decline of about just 6%. Diesel dropped from 136.37p to 128.58p. Campaigners have argued that taxes account for the bulk of UK pump prices and that the government has more power to reduce prices than petrol companies. In the meantime, Asda, Sainsbury's and Tesco have announced further reduction in pump prices. The United Kingdom, a report has found out that immigrants from the European Union have contributed more than £20 billion to the British economy since 2001. Prime Minister David Cameron, under pressure from the anti-EU UK Independence Party, UKIP, wants to curb immigration if he wins next May's general election, a plan which had drawn criticism from the European Commission and the German Chancellor, Angela Merkel. Immigration has overtaken the economy in some polls as voters' top concern, and with UKIP rising support, David Cameron has hardened his stance on immigration. The study by researchers at the University of London concluded that European immigrants had boosted public finances by more than £20 billion between 2001 and 2011. Germany's Angela Merkel, a key ally of David Cameron, has warned that the EU will not change its policy of freedom of movement among member states because of England. From politics to economy, business, technology, the totality of what makes man is what we bring to you here on this Punch. We give you the information that you need, from business to economy to politics to technology. And that's what we do here on this Punch, from the beginning to the end. And that is why we are here. Keep watching this Punch from Ben Television. And today I'll be your host. The Winnie Jemide series, Gender Issues in Business and Politics, have been in the fore for some time. Gender emergence has been recently linked to sustainable economic growth. Gender Emergence and Economic Development Forum has been a platform for promoting and facilitating gender-related matters in Africa, especially Nigeria. The Winnie Jemide series has been used to bring together global experts to promote gender emergence. Winnie Jemide series, held in London very recently with support from Mayor Brown, attracted global experts who reviewed opportunities in gender emergence.
My name is Winnie Jemide, the initiator and founder of the Winnie Jemide series. The series seeks to promote the connection between gender emergence and economic development. So if we turn that the other way around, we're simply saying that economies cannot sustainably continue to develop unless gender emerges. We've had several conversations around this, but today's conversation is specific to money. How can gender emerge in the area of big business? So moving from micro to macro. Now, as you know, women have dominated the SME space for a really long time. And so today we're talking about moving from the SME space to the space of big business. And the voices we have that are contributing to this conversation are talking about practical steps to finding the money. So first and foremost, what makes you interesting to an investor? What T's do I have to cross and what I's do I have to dot, and how do I get my ducks in a row? So far, I have personally learned a tremendous amount. As you know, with things of an NGO nature, they're not money making, so I have a day job, and the things that I've learned today I find are practically applicable, and I can actually leave this conference and go and apply them to my entrepreneurial endeavors. And that is what we hope to achieve today, with many, if not all, of the audience being able to learn how to prepare themselves to approach potential investors, whether it's banks or private equity, and so on. So that is what we're doing here today. As I alluded to a little earlier, what constrains or restrains women from moving to the next step is access to financing, access to money. Typically, when you start a business, the monies that are available to you come from the men in your life, from your family, or from the community around you. And what we are trying to do is to say, while that's good, there are certain limitations to that route. So there are other sources of funding available, and let's try and identify those funds, but also prepare ourselves to look good enough when we do our presentations. Now, while not everyone can operate at the largest echelons of business, you can certainly climb up the ladder a little more. Log on to our website. You will find information about this conference that will certainly help you move to the next level. But the world is waiting for you and hasn't seen everything that you are capable of yet.
My name is Rachel Spate. I'm a partner here at Mayer Brown. We're here in Mayer Brown's offices in London. Mayer Brown is an international law firm. So you might think, what are Mayer Brown doing here? Why are we hosting this event? Why are we interested in this event? And it's very clear. Two reasons for my own involvement is one, the promotion of women, which we're very keen on here at Mayer Brown, and the second one is our burgeoning Africa practice. So this event brings those two themes together. So when the suggestion came up to run this event and to host this event, we were absolutely thrilled to get involved. So Mayer Brown is a law firm. Like other industries, we have issues with retaining and advancing our female talent. So I'm part of the Mayer Brown's Women's Leadership Committee, which seeks to keep those women within our business and seeks to help promote them into senior and management positions. So some of the themes that we've heard here today about promoting women in Africa and getting them from the micro industry to the macro industry are also very relevant for Mayer Brown, and we've got a number of our team here who are learning a lot, I think, from this session. And also what we hope is that by promoting women in Africa from the micro industries to the macro industries, this will help our burgeoning Africa practice, and we hope to get some benefits out of that with some of these amazing women coming through the industry lines, and hopefully they'll remember this fantastic event. We've had some very practical examples being given by some of our speakers who've been involved in the investment industry and in the banking industry. In particular, they very much focused on business plans, in encouraging women to not just put their idea down on 2 sheets of A4 paper, but to put a properly formulated business plan. And then when the opportunities arise, to step forward and give that business plan to people. So it's very much not just having the fantastic idea, but it's actually then having the infrastructure to put that idea into practice, having access to financial advisors, and then having access to the actual finance itself. So I think they've given some very useful practical examples to the audience here, so that they can start making that transition from micro to macro.
Very good turnout. It showcases, how women can do better and emerge in the business world. And it's helped us see that we don't have barriers to raising financing. There are no barriers. It's about doing the homework and being on the same footing as men. So I think it's pretty simple.
This is a very laudable project. What would you like to say to the organizers of today's event?
I'd like to thank them for this initiative. I mean, it's events like this that will sort of remind women about what they can do and show them that there are resources out there to help them do this. So I mean, I'd like to say a big thank you to Mrs. Ayuli Jemide, who organized this Winning in Jemide series. I'd like to encourage them and let them know that we're listening, and I'm sure the rest of the corporate world is listening, and they will do well in this project. Thank you.
As a woman, how far do you think this kind of projects would go in encouraging our gender to push ourselves out there a little bit more? There's so many challenges that we know that are gender-based, but despite that, there are strong women out there, for example, yourself. So how does this kind of initiative help to push that message out?
I think what this does is remind women that we have that potential. We shouldn't feel disadvantaged. We should embrace our differences and use that to our advantage. It's about doing the work, doing it right, and regardless of gender, women can do it right. This will just serve to remind, teach, educate people, show them the sources available to them, and let them know that other people around the world have done it and they're not any different.
Well, when you were giving your speech, you mentioned some key factors that were necessary. You said passion, you said drive. How do you think this helps women want to look forward in terms of pushing out there to do what it is that they're going to do?
I think the critical thing is we all remind ourselves that, perception is everything, because it is. So you have to put your best foot forward. You have to show people you have passion for what you want to do, you have the drive, you have the will to make it happen against all the odds. And that differentiates you from the next person. People are willing to listen when they can see that passion.
The Winnie Jamide series in London aimed to explore opportunities in creating big businesses for women and helping them move from micro to macro businesses. And this is all we have for you today on this episode of News Roundup. My name is Tunde Alabi, and thank you for being part of the program. Do have a very good week ahead of you. Bye.